Hi. Oh, okay. My name is Schuyler Tellen. I'm a production designer working here in Oregon. I'm a member of ADG 800. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I feel that improv theater should be taught at this university. Today, for the next 3 minutes, I'm going to illustrate 3 points that will lead you to believe that improv is the most integral and important asset we have to teach our young students. That's what I did, okay? So it's my second year of college. I'm a senior, 5 years in. I'm missing this last class. It's Public Speaking 101, but it's missing my core curriculum. And they say, well, you can't graduate. I mean, I've been to the class like 2 times. The teacher didn't even know who I was. And I walked in and I did that. And this kid in the front row, this freshman, just went, whoa! And I talked for 3 minutes, and I had nothing prepared. I just went through these things, and I started talking about process and creativity and all these random thoughts that just came to mind. And I started piecing together how we connect things and ideas, and how we have to share ideas, and how we have to come together as a community. And I didn't know it at the time, but that was the first time that I thought about what is my creative process, right? Because how often do you actually sit down and think about that? I am now here to really talk about it. So I'm going to go a little longer than 3 minutes, and I hope you stick with me. I want to tell you a few things about myself to get started. I'm left-handed. I have severe dyslexia. I'm half Jewish, half Viking. I'm from a city formerly known as Boulder, Colorado. And I'm the first person in my family to hold a college degree, which I'm pretty proud of. Now, I've done something. We're missing a few people in the crowd, I noticed. So when we went to break, I came in, and I put something under your seats. So if you could all look under your seat, please. Right over there. Okay, you found one? Okay. That's right, it's an imaginary seatbelt. So I want you to take that out. You're looking in. Then we're going to tighten the strap. All right. Now you are going to have to hold on tight because we're going to go into a very strange and insane world of my mind.
To pull out into a bed. Love seats, sectional, leather, modern, classic, contemporary, and all pull-outs. And we're having a sale.
Let's see, I got my lotion and my gum and my shoelaces for my brown shoes. And could I also get the morning after pill?
Hey, Nick, do we sell the morning after?
Oh, that's okay. We don't need to bother Nick. He's doing pill business. I know I'm just assistant calendar editor, but I would really love to write more. And
You millennial dumpling. Work hard and pay your dues.
so that's a maybe then, right?
You liking the thin menu?
It's fine.
Well, are you doing the almonds between meals?
Yeah, they're so satisfying. Sometimes when I have 6 almonds, I feel like I had 12 almonds.
Hey, my roommates are here. You're cool with going out the back again, right?
If I could just give you a quick pitch. I heard about this pool party and it's all about people feeling comfortable in their own skin.
The last thing we need is everybody feeling comfortable in their own skin. That would be the 70s.
I just would love to start some up.
Annie, please go away.
They hate us in the dust. They wish they had better luck.
This may be the best day of my life.
Joe, my God.
I know. It's ruined.
How is he?
I didn't expect you to come over. I just thought you should know. Honestly, when I called you, I thought he might die.
But he's not going to.
No. He's lost the foot.
It was really just a normal day. I don't know how else to describe it.
This was the worst thing I've seen in 20 years.
Before it was all over, it had a name. It brought out.
What if the motive is just poop is funny? Poop is funny.
It's poop. But it goes a lot deeper than that. I'm contacting you because we have a vandal.
Not everybody knows about this, and nor should they. It's a sale. I am the Black King.
You hear that? That's the sound of the best tradition in college football history coming.
Hey, can you hear me? You say something? Did you hear that? The tradition?
I feel very powerful right now.
I've been letting people dismiss me or say to me my entire life. At this point, I just feel like,
Yeah.
and you too.
Yeah. I mean, this is the dinner you invited me to. That's why I'm here.
Are you high?
What? No, I'm not high.
You are high as a kite.
Thug life.
Hey, I'm Luke Perry. I have a gift for you from your favorite city. A longing look from me. Happy holidays.
Okay, so that's the first thing I ever did, was this Luke Perry job. Jonathan Kreisel had me go down to LA. He's now directing the Muppets movie. And I showed up, I drove down, I had a set decorator, 2 people, no money. And I thought to myself, okay, how are we gonna accomplish this? So we got some sand, some cardboard, we laid out this beautiful beach, and the whole thing is about being in the moment, right? And I thought about backdrops. Backdrops have always been so incredible to me. I mean, you can draw these giant worlds and just delve into them. I did not know Raiders of the Lost Ark. That scene going down, where's it going? I didn't know that that was a fake backdrop, right? You've seen them in Hitchcock. I know that you've seen this outdoor Paramount sky, the cowboy riding off, that was just there. These are 2 photos of me from my tech scout earlier this week. And I was then working on Pineapple Express, my second movie. I did Balls of Fury, that's my third actually, then Superbad. And the production designer, Chris Bellman, had me come up with an idea for this wall. So I went out to Santa Monica, and I photographed this parking garage. We blew it up, put it on the wall. That was back when we used film, check the gate. And then I worked on Mad Men. Mad Men was so incredible. I was the art department coordinator. So my job was to completely catalog, research, make sure all the communications, all the departments are going together. I would always call JC backings, go down there and make sure the backings were getting it right. And you thought you were in New York, but no, you're downtown LA, LA Center Studios. That was incredible. This is the first project I did here in Portland, Oregon. That was a TV show that I production designed. And we had to do this houseboat. So we were at this houseboat. Just kidding, it's not real, it's a set. There's the backdrop. And this was one of the most challenging things I've ever done. Build a set and get a backdrop made. I called my brother, Jared. We went down to these docks and we photographed 300 photos, stitched them together in a 6 gigabyte file, sent it to LA. It had to be day night, and I had my buddy Andrew Holt, who was a PA on Mad Men, draft up these plans so I could figure out the perspective. We had to be at a certain height. I mean, stuff that just cringing. Deadlines, a week to figure that out. And this is just recently, this is last week. This is Shrill. Season 2, which we just wrapped. I can't tell you too much about Season 2, but it's a great show. Great crew. There's our PA, Gabe Williams. I met him at Colors of Creative, the event put on by Owen PA, and I hired him. He was our fabulous PA. There's our set decorator, Janelle Chandler, Vinar, my lead man. I love my crew. They're a part of it as much as I am. This is a giant backdrop that we made for that. And so this backdrop in there, even though the wave's not falling, right, but you get a sense of like stillness almost, like you're there with Luke. I would love to be there. I can tell you about him at the after party if you like. And I put this bird in here just because I wanted that stillness, and we needed something else to create that sense of life. So I'm a production designer, and that's what we do, right? We create these fake worlds. We're world builders. We work in this narrative. And every single day, we're trying to come up with a new idea of how to make something real. The best way for me to describe it is just to take it away, right? So here it's a wonderful set. This is the world without production design. I've gone back in time. Well, where's the money? Well, it's in your house. If Mr. Potter's not buying, he's selling. Anybody? It's a Wonderful Life? Oh, I guess you guys haven't seen that. Okay, look at this dude. I found this dude online. Look what he did. He printed out a picture for like $76 from FedEx, put a night a couple bucks, and look what he's created. Not only that, but look at his attitude. He's such a badass. He won't even smile. Well, here's our first production designer, Mr. William Cameron Menzies. Now, I've helped him out with his pronouns a little bit. You know. Okay, she, he, or they must have knowledge of architecture of all periods and nationalities. They must be able to visualize and make interesting a tenement or a prison. She must be a cartoonist, a costumer, a marine painter, designer of ships, interior decorator, landscape painter, dramatist, inventor, historical, now acoustical expert. Can you imagine the list that dude would have to say now? He's smoking a cigarette while he works. This was so long ago. Dude, technology, robots, future, past. We have a whole new idea of what dinosaurs look like. He didn't know. Those bones weren't even put together yet. Okay, so we're going to talk about perspective. That's my big thesis statement. Basically, narrative world building and also as a coping mechanism, because I have problems. I'm a human. And we're going to talk about it as managers, artists, the human experience in general. I love this guy, Anton Ego. You know what I'm craving? A little perspective. That's it. I'd like some fresh, clear, well-seasoned perspective. Can you suggest a good wine with that? Dude, I hated this dude. Oh my God! That poor rat! Right? And what I've got a little perspective, and look at that, look how... And then he became, oh my God, I love him. He opened the restaurant, the rat's cooking for him. Anybody? Ratatouille? Come on, you guys, we're gonna name a lot of movies. All right, perspective. First definition, the art of drawing a solid object on a two-dimensional surface so as to give the right impression of their height, width, depth, and position in relation to each other when viewed from a particular angle, right? So here's a drop point perspective up here. I like point, I don't want that. Here's a drop point perspective. Dan Bishop, wonderful production designer for Mad Men. He would always do a drop point perspective. He would draw. I can't draw at all. I can't even draw a box. He would draw. I'm fortunate. I have SketchUp. So here I've done that. I was art directing this commercial. That's the finished set, right? So this is an Adidas commercial I did a month ago. And I actually turned this into an animated drawing. The director can see how the camera moves. So that's a drop point perspective. But there's another definition here. A particular attitude towards a way of regarding something or a point of view, right? So this says most guidebook history is written from the editor's perspective. Well, most movies are from the director's perspective. Do you see what I did? I took the perspective, I put 3 different ones, like they're all different. Okay. So there's a difference between opinions and perspectives, seeing the world for this and that. I just love the idea that you can change your world, You can see things in a different way. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Some of these slides didn't load. Ironically, it's Kurt Vonnegut up there in the corner. And he would say, so it goes. He would always be able to shift his perspective. See how I took that slide that was broken and turned it? Okay, this is my daughter. Can everyone say, hi, Selma? Hi. So I'm raising a human. That's a thing. And I wanted to talk about things to her that I couldn't just, here's my opinion. And that's now your opinion, okay? That's how it goes. So I always try and form things, my wonderful wife tries to form things into a way of perspective. By the way, I did my best, and my best is good enough. Hannah Bleacher, production designer, Black Panther. I was in the room when she said that. Oh, boom! Inspiration, right? So I'm always trying to think about those types of things. Then life itself puts you in this insane perspective. This is my wife, and this is our first, I hear her over there. This is our first date in Bellingham. We went down to the docks. Some dude had a Polaroid camera and took this 19 years ago. Isn't that crazy? And there's our daughter. She's 1. So my whole life is always evolving and changing. Uh-oh, here's Clippy from Word 2000. What's he saying? Oh, no. Never use quick. Oh, yeah, see, okay. There's 2. I use these. Don't ever use your first Google results. Because you're going to walk into a meeting, and guess what? Everybody else has the same photo. You got to do a deep dive there. Okay? Thank you, Clippy. Also, it's like reconnaissance for what your opponent's going to talk about. They're always going to have the first red car from Google. Okay. Oh, here's what we do. So there you think you're, in a cockpit, right? This is a commercial I did. I love this one. Ooh, Spooky Castle. Call into Ruin. Art director I used to work for. He taught me this trick. Big castle, then you save money. All you have to build is these doors, right? You think you're there. This is from a movie called Young Frankenstein. Frankenstein! Look at the size of these knockers. I mean, they were cheap. I know what you were thinking. Yes, that was the cockpit from Airplane, and yes, I specifically requested that one so I could see that. Uh-oh. I seem to have made a mistake. I got yelled at a lot in front of a lot of people for putting blue tape down on the stage, you're supposed to use gaff tape. So that was something I learned the hard way, with Union Teamsters screaming at me for making marks on the floor. Look at these nerds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's probably a guy behind there, right? 6. These dudes are making Star Wars. That's the Death Star exploding. And they're in a parking lot. What have you done today? So we make graphics too, right? We make graphics to try and tell a story. So this is Jonah from Veep. I made his campaign. There's Pawnee, the city seal. You may have noticed, this is one of my first vector drawings. Dan Bishop did a napkin sketch. And the buffalo's missing legs. No one's ever told me that. And if you tell anyone, I said that. Nobody knows it. Okay.
Here we go.
Oh.
We've come so far.
The ultimate perspective changer, right? Lindsay
When I
knows.
close my eyes, I can picture
Leslie.
the flash of the cameras at my
I'm nervous.
swearing in. And I can hear the sound of the applause when I take my oath. And I can see in the crowd President Obama smiling at me. He made it. I didn't think he would come, but he made it. Hey, buddy.
Boy, that's a different time, right? And who she worked with? This dude with the minions. Ron Swanson. This is one of my first Photoshop things, right? And I use the round tool instead of like a brush. So you can see how his cheeks have these like really weird things, right? I stayed up all night on this photo. Let's look at this guy.
Under my tutelage, you will grow from boys into men, from men into gladiators, and from gladiators into Swansons. Behold, the Swanson Pyramid of Greatness. I've been developing the Swanson Pyramid of Greatness for years. It's a perfectly calibrated recipe for maximum personal achievement. Categories include teamwork, very important. Equally important, selfishness. Take this year's America, the only country that matters. If you want to experience other cultures, use an atlas or a ham radio. Cursing. There's only one bad.
Anyways, it goes on and on and on and on. Right, here's a guy who won't change his opinion and his perspective. The city of Pawnee Seal, Dan Bishop, genius, wanted this 1 year after Indiana was created. I don't know if anyone's ever noticed that, but in just 1 year, they've killed all the buffalo. Okay, so here's how film works. We have a director, he tells the keys, the production designer, costume designer, and then we tell our crew. And that's how film works. Okay, good night! But it's not. Okay, this is my world. So this week I've been on 2 Tech Scouts, a production meeting, and on Sunday morning at 6 a.m. I start shooting Trinkets Season 2. This is my chart. I'm up there, art director. I added graphics. I bumped up costumers. My prop master wanted me to draw a line from unit production manager to every single person. And this is my family tree, so you can see why I don't mind reading this. Both my parents married and divorced 3 times. So I'm right there in the middle. This is just my dad's side, so that's a trip. So when I look at this, I can immediately kind of, I'm already in that mindset, right? What happens when one department on a film fails? What happens when there's no craft service? You think it's a little thing, right? Oh, it's craft service. No. Everything falls apart. One bone and the body gets broken and you have to sit down, right? Super bad. One of your friends throws up. There's the night. Can't get in the strip club. Okay, so this is me. I wrote down my creative process for you. This is like one of those napkin sketches that you think like, Bill Gates is going to show you one day. I'm actually going to show you this. I wrote this in a bumpy tech van a few days ago. This is what was in my mind of how I think about doing things, right? So let's look at a couple of these. First, I do the prep work. I read the script. I go through all those things. Then I'm going to come up with a set list. That's a right brain job, right? Write down, okay, we're in a police station, we're in a park, we're in that, we're there. Now I'm looking at the set dressing. Okay, we're in a park, we need a bench, we need that. Then I'm looking at, is it a living space? Is it a workspace? Is it passive? Is it active? Is it affecting our character? Every set gets a detailed vision board. Then I start putting together boards. And, if you use one picture, it's copyright. But if you use 3, it's called reference. It's a good trick. Okay, next time. Then I move into what I call environmental layering, right? So I'm looking at economics, historical trends. What's the economy? Are these characters rich? Are they poor? What are the historical trends? Character interactions, attitudes. What are the attitudes of the time? Is it like, emotional stuff? Quid pro quo. Who benefits? Who benefits from this bank? If you walk into a bank, who's benefiting? Why was it built? Who built it? Who built it? And what is their graphics? What are they trying to lure you in by? So I take all these crazy things into account, right? And that's called a backstory. And then I start doing connectors because I have to look at how that character is going to end up. How that character is going to end up over, at the bank, or if they're going to sell something, or if they have to have a relationship change. Then I talk to the director. And it's really their story, right? But I've already got this whole kind of environmental layering in. And I come prepared with boards. This, unfortunately, is a project that didn't come to fruition, but these are 3 boards I built for a wonderful, wonderful project, directed by Carrie Brownstein. And I start layering in kind of how I feel about characters, colors, references. I come up with like really cool adjectives. I want to talk about, is this space kinetic? What are we trying to achieve here? So now you see a one-liner. So I've taken all that, I've talked to the director. Now I get this. Now this is one day of a schedule for American Vandal, right? So here's what we're shooting in one day. I can't even read it, it's a little blurry, but we're in a chapel, library, Paul's bedroom, Coach Devlin's office, another library, computer lab, chapel, trophy case, okay? So you think that's what we're doing in the day. But I'm also wrapping out teacher's lounge. My crew has to take the teacher's lounge set down, do all these sets, and then we're also prepping locker room. So that's just one day. So I take my process, talk to the director, and then I put it into this right brain machine that just crunches it. Right? And every single day I'm getting a call sheet, and now I'm working kind of right and left brain to get things going. Let's look at AP Bio. Here's AP Bio. This was a huge challenge for me because I had to design a set for a beautiful old woman. So I got some avocado in there, of course, because that was an awesome color. And I looked at these historical kind of catalogs. I pulled out old catalogs and trying to figure out what were the trends at the time. So some 3D models. We wanted some dogma in there. We put together a picture of Jesus comforting this kid at JFK's funeral. Rob, Gigi Barbet, wonderful people in LA. I love you. Here's a 3D model, and here's the finished set. It was fun. But you really have to be able to come up with these ideas, communicate them, live within your process, live within the script, and then live within the director's world, right? This is his nemesis, so we pulled in a lot of reds. This is Miles, California house. Shot this on Elm Street in the Universal backlot. Had to go there by myself at night. No electricity. Still did. I'm halfway through and I'm 5 minutes behind. That's being there. I love that. Let's watch the commercial.
It's my worst nightmare. It's scary when the lights go out. People get anxious and my office gets flooded with calls. So many things can go wrong. We might see more accidents, more people showing up in the emergency room. Everyone stays on high alert because every second that power is out, my city's at risk.
Siemens' digital grid manages and reroutes power, so even during a storm, power can be restored within seconds.
Priority number 1 is keeping those lights on.
It takes ingenuity to defeat the monsters that live in the dark.
Siemens got it working on. Okay, so there were some challenges here. First of all, the production designer quit, and I was the art director. He's a good friend of mine. He had another project. And we had a new production designer brought in. But before that happened, after the quit happened, they said, we're going to shut down, we're going to leave. They were from New York. And I called them and I said, look, I have a crew. I'm ready to do this. I know I'm not a production designer yet, but full-fledged, but I can do this. And they said, okay, we'll call you back in 10 minutes. Called me back, said, okay, we're on, get your crew together. You're going to be the art director. We're flying a production designer in. So I don't want to say I did everything, but I have local knowledge, of course. This is one thing we had to do. Those monsters you saw, they were talking about how to do that. They wanted to fix it in post. Fix it in prep. Matt Hopkins, wonderful prop maker. He carved these out. We did all these cool lighting effects. Why not fix it in prep? Let's save the money. Let's use the money now to save it later, right? This is at the Portland 911 Center. I got in there because my college RA at Western Washington University is assistant deputy director for emergency services. Now I had to keep every single one of these monitors on, and to do that, every 1 minute you had to move the mouse. And there were like 200. There was 3 extras that day, and it was just me. So I'm running around moving guys. Schuyler, do you mind just staying? Do you mind just sitting on set and looking like you're like frantic? I can't talk. So then I end up doing this, and this woman walks in. I'm talking about the future of energy, and she comes right up to me and starts just talking to me. I made $38,000. I became I'm a SAG actor now. Let's hear it for me. Come on.
Yeah.
This is all because I took a risk, and I said, I can do this. I didn't know if I could do this. I did all this playback. It was terrifying, you guys. But you have to put yourself in that position. You have to be there. Nobody's going to give it to you. You have to do something crazy. You have to get into a different mindset. You have to go to a different place. Nothing's going to happen to you just sitting there. I was in LA. I was an actor once on the History Channel. Not a canon. It was real. It was amazing. And of course, high school, thespian. Just to show you I was cool, Luke. There's a cool photo. That's me, Parks and Rec. That's the other thing. I got my face of there is Parks and Rec. Nobody cares. Okay, case study, Shrill. Let's talk about Shrill. So Shrill starts with beautiful Annie Easton. She's so young, she's naive, and one of the first places we see her is this decision. You saw she was getting birth control. And I wanted this to really remain as something that's like juvenile, really choice heavy, so we went with very primary colors. And we started layering in all these other elements, right? So we did this pencil sketch with this thing. But there's all kinds of things. Look at that mailbox. So there's a mailbox, but there's one below it, apartment B. What does that tell you? That tells you that they might live in a Portland Foursquare, but there's probably somebody in the basement, economically maybe, they don't have that much money. Things that you might not notice, but I don't know, they tell a story for me, right? So we like to layer those in. That Potter is not a Potter, it's a Coors Light. Okay, and then I wanted to create something else. I wanted plants to be a lot of the dialogue, because we're watching them grow. And we built this amazing sunroom, and I had to fight so hard for the sunroom. Some of us were into it, some of us weren't. You know, there's concerns about space, I get it. But it was a really interesting place. She had an abortion, she ends up talking there, and now it's become a very intimate space where we watch Annie and Fran discuss a lot of things. And then opposite, there's Ryan, her boyfriend. Look at the colors. God, they're so gross. Amanda Needham, I love you. You're incredible. Look at these. Is it discordant or disordinate? I don't know either. Okay, we're going to have a drink later. So they're different. She's wearing like different dresses, right? It's okay to say you don't know something. I don't know. And here's Ryan when he is in Annie's house. The dog's eating mushrooms, so he's trying to get him through a mushroom trip. Okay. But I love the division here. Look what Joe Mead, our DP, did. They're completely different. Even when he's in the house, he's separated, right? And there's a few of these red elements that are just kind of like, ooh, red light. But the biggest challenge here was this newspaper office, because it wasn't very big, and I really wanted to create a space. I'm going to talk fast, I only have 9 minutes left. I wanted to create a space where you really felt like there was more to it. We wanted to feel like we could create another office in season 2 and not be worried that like, oh no, I've seen that corner already. So we got this cool warehouse downtown, which I just rebuilt the entire thing nail for nail on a stage in Calatrava. And it really had these wonderful colors that kind of like tell you a story. So I shoved all these paper airplanes in there, right? Okay, somebody's goofing off at work, they're not working all the time. And there's all these different colors. There's like different colors. We need more colors in our life, right? Every department needs more colors. We need to be more conscious of who we hire to have more colors. But I wanted a lot of elements that kind of felt cohesive. It's super messy. It's okay to be messy. I hate seeing sets when everything's like so perfect and there's 3 pieces of paper. Life's not like that. I have cords everywhere, dude. You guys have cords everywhere? Like I have cords everywhere. I tried the wireless headphones, I lost them. Okay. Even at work though, right? She's feeling out of place sometimes. I mean, obviously this has to do with masculinity. These are some sets. So now I also had to scout this with David Kress, our wonderful producer. But we had to look for a space that I knew I could build. So I'm working all the time. But our DP and our ADs and our directors are only focused on their episodes. Because the ADs do every other, the DPs do every other. But I have to remember all these cohesive things and remind people constantly. So I become this library and encyclopedia. But I had to look for a set that I knew I could build. Here's the backing you saw before that Gabe was standing in front of. That's that one there. But we had to do these cool perspective drawings. Now Dan Bishop's knowledge is coming back to me and it's awesome. So I built a 3D SketchUp model. I put that SketchUp model perspective to work. And I can now place at 4 feet, that's where you want your camera always, 4 feet, 16 by 9 lens. I could see where the backings had to go. The math on this is insane. Art director Carl Lefevre, incredible, my buddy. Here's some SketchUp models. I'd love to render those. I'll teach anybody how to do this. It's super easy and fun, makes you look cool. And then the pool party episode. So this is my favorite episode of Shrill. This is a party that Annie goes to where she finally gets to feel herself comfortable in her own skin, gets to be in a bathing suit in front of other people. It's not easy, right? This is a flashback that happens before, and I wanted to have some of the same cohesive party photos, but in this totally retro way. This is the Shiloh Inn. Do not bring a black light, but we changed completely all of the curtains, the duvet, all that stuff. Don't bring the black light to anything. That was not a knock on Shiloh Inn. I love Shiloh Inn, but like, don't even bring one in here. Good. But you see how that contrasts to this wonderful pool party. It's super exuberant. It's also got a few elements like this wonderful bar that has a mermaid feel, but it's just construction paper. Because we wanted it to feel kind of makeshift. We don't, you don't want to go over the top and make things too wonderful. This was set up all the time. This is at the Oregon Country Club. I don't think they've ever started. Yes, Carl and Janelle, my decorator, and I all jumped in here. It was amazing. When I first read the script, this is the first thing I thought of. Like, within seconds, I was like, I'm gonna fill that pool with floating. And jump in there on a 90-degree day while golfers are watching it made me feel like this. I don't have so much time to run through these. That was one. This is here's Annie, a flashback. This is the Schuyler pool, which is very cool. And it kind of had this wonderful blue and pink element that we were starting to build our colors in, right? Because we started with these very primary colors, so that was cool. Trinkets is shooting now. I'm going to run through this one pretty quick, but I wanted to make a high school that looked really real. So we're shooting Lake Oswego, 3 girls. They meet at an essay meeting, Shoplifters Anonymous, and they're all from different sides of the track. I love this project. It's a project that talks about high school girls in a way that makes people kind of cringe a little bit, because it's real. It deals with abuse, deals with addiction, and a lot of things. But we wanted to make Lake Oswego very fancy, right? So this is a wonderful house we use with very good tones. Very desaturated colors, right? This is the essay meeting, which is in a church basement. It's actually in a school basement over in Gladstone. But we wanted a sense of dogma, but now you're starting to kind of get this bridge of kind of desaturated colors that turn into pastels. And then whenever we're in Portland, when the girls get out of their element and they're escaping, we started hiding it. Practical lights right in the way. We love that tool. Also, we use light. The lights are off, you think you're alone. The lights are on, you think you're there. So I work with the DPs a lot in that world. I love the use of red in the show, though, because if you watch closely, we did not have red for the first 4 or 5 episodes. The girls go to this party, and Elodie here is wearing devil ears that she picked up at Sabine's house party. Now, she and Sabine have a thing, and as Sabine turns her into more of a roadie aubergine, we start to layer in red, but very specific and bold choices of it, because Elodie's color is yellow. Let's watch a scene from that.
You're kind of wild, you know that.
There's red and yellow behind them. And there's this red car that just tells you everything. She's switched over right? So that's an underage girl kiss. I mean, this is a big deal. She's running away. She ends up running away with her fantasy in season 1. Please check it out. It's awesome. This is what I wrote down the other day. Let's go through it. My current rules for success, like I know anything. Okay, 1, make my bed every morning. No matter what happens to me, I can go home and my bed is made, okay? I know I have a place to go to. Pro tip. I don't actually make the bed. Before I get out, I grab the corners and like scoop my legs down and like do this under the covers and then slide out. You don't even have to make the bed. Okay, write down my to-do list every morning. Box everything off under number 3. Just try and get 3 things done. Okay. Warren Buffett does that. Somewhere I got it. Number 3. Don't just walk in and attack people in the morning. Have coffee, say hello, check in with them, then attack them with new ideas. Okay. I put on that like new ideas thing to make myself look good, but I am an owl in the morning. And I learned it was very hard as I became a production designer because I was really just thrown into it. And it was a hard thing to like go up to people and like tell them what to do, but they're your friends, you know. Blah, blah, blah. So I really take time now to stop and like assess what they're doing, okay? Because always assess if you are actively listening or you're just waiting for your turn to speak. There is a difference. Thank you. And everyone is hurting and struggling in ways you cannot perceive. Being a manager is tough, and it's hard to recognize this. This is one of my most important rules. Because I have some real idiot people that work with me. I say idiot, but I try not to swear. I would say a-hole. But I learned, because I don't attack them for things, that they're actually going through some serious stuff. In January, I was in the hospital. I was in the ICU at OHSU. I had a $79,000 bill. I left. The diagnosis was called idiopathic, which means they don't know what it is. Thanks! Luckily, I don't have any STDs, cancer, or any disease they can find, so I have a perfect Tinder profile. Not that I need it. But you never know what people are going through. You wouldn't know that unless I told you, right? So I have some things going on. So look at things, don't get involved. Ask questions until you understand their agenda. I tell this to a few like older white people. They don't like it. And they think that you're being like kind of millennial about it. But it just means like listen to people till you understand what the perspective is that they're coming from. Acknowledge hard work of your team in group settings. Speaks for itself. It's okay for life to suck sometimes. It's okay. Get rid of social media. Not a competition. Seems like it is, but it's not. You're your most important asset. Time is money. You will someday realize that time is your only money. Let people come to your own ideas. I'll talk about that one at the bar if you like. Unions are awesome. Fight for your crew, fight for your union. It's okay to take risks for time and love. I'm okay. I can take a risk. I can stand on a stage because somebody loves me. This is hard for me. This is crazy, okay? And also the kid. That's my daughter. I put her last because I want to remember her first. This is the first guy who hired me, Jeff Nib. Then when I won an Emmy, I got to stand next to Howard Cummings. He did Behind the Candelabra. He got me in the union. I worked with Steven Soderbergh and was working my tail off. And he called the union and said, hey, you got to get this guy in. I just thought I'd acknowledge them. And I was like, this photo was taken of me, and I saw it on a text out, and I was like, oh my God, I'm bald. Nobody told me that. I don't remember my wife was, I love you. But like, I mean, I knew I was sitting. But like, if I feel it, it seems like there's something there, but then I saw it. Yeah, I'm coming out. I'm bald! Alright, this is my daughter, and I love her. I just want to say I really appreciate you guys having me here. I want to thank Steve. I have 36 seconds left on my clock. We don't have time, so instead we're going to go to 1996, the coolest thing I ever saw. This is the first time that I thought about production design, and I hope to see you at the bar. I love you. Thank you!